this is the user guide for the book club website. So this is the home page for the book club. First we're going to go through the user guide for just a standard user who would sign up to the book club and have a login for the site, and then I'm going to show the administrative login and how that differs from a normal one. So there's a navigation panel across the top of the site, the home, search and account buttons, and that's how you get around the site. So at the moment we're on the home page, which can be accessed by clicking home on the left, or you can actually click on the book club logo and that will take you back to the home page at any point. The home page just displays basic information about the book club, so what's being read, what we're reading next, and details about when the next book club's being held and where. There's also in the bottom right hand corner View Book Club Rules, which takes you to an additional page with information about the book club. So if we click that now, you can see that the book club rules are there, and just click back on home to go back. There's also a login button in the top right that shows that the user is currently not logged in. When a user is logged in, that will change to log out, and a my account button will also appear. The next thing that the user will want to do will be to search the catalogue. So if you click on search in the top, you can search either by ISBN number, by author or by title, or you can combine author and title. If, for example, you were searching for an author that had quite a lot of books, then you might want to specify the title as well. When it comes to author and title, it will actually partially match. So if you don't know the correct spelling, for example, I know that there's an author called Ian Rankin, but I might not know how to spell Ian, so I could just put rank in and search for that, and it'll actually return Rankin because it's a partial match on the author's name. So when you get your search results, it will tell you the ISBN, author, title, and whether the book's available or on loan. If that book was available, there'd actually be a checkbox there for you to check the book out. So if we go back to search, you can also search on title, so another book in there. And again, you just get the relevant result. You can also view details of the book. So if you click on view details, it does actually load some additional information, including the publication date of the book, the publisher and the genre of the book. And there is also a way to view the entire catalogue. So if you're not sure what you're looking for, you just want to have a browse, click on view entire catalogue and that will load everything up for you. There's also the ability next to check out books. So when you arrive on your results, you can see here that 2 of these books are currently on loan, but the rest are available. So I'm going to select one of the books to loan, and what will happen next is, because I'm not logged in, it will redirect me to the login page. So there is a test account set up that I'm going to log into. This is a basic user account, and you can see here that it just confirms that you are sure you want to rent the following book. You can at this point click start over, which will just exit you out of the loan process and it will take you back to the search page. Or if you click I'm sure, it will just show you the results to say that you have definitely checked out this book and the date that it's due back on. So it's due on the 24th of June. You'll notice now that I'm logged in the top right, we've got my account and log out have appeared. My account just takes you to the same place as clicking on account, which when you're logged in will show you the details of your account. So this is the information of the user, the relevant details, including, you can see their email, telephone number. It also shows whether they're an active user. From the account panel, the user can click on view rentals, which will show the rentals which have taken place in the past and which books have been returned. It will also show which books are currently out on loan, so there's no return date, meaning that they're still on loan to that user. The user can update their details by clicking on update details and changing any of their details here. Now, some of the fields must be entered in a specific way. For example, the postcode. If I was to put a space in there and submit the new details, we get an error message saying that the postcode must not contain any spaces. So I'll just get rid of that. And what I'll do is instead I'll just change that letter at the end and submit that, and it will actually tell you that the details have been updated successfully. If I don't change anything and I submit the details again, it just indicates there that no details were updated that time. The change password screen is on a different page just to avoid the user accidentally changing their password. And to change the password, you need to enter the old password, what you want your new password to be, and the confirmation password just has to be the same as the new password. So I'm going to type my old password in here. There are some password restrictions. For example, I'll try and change the password now to just 1234, and you'll see here that the new password cannot be less than 6 characters long. So it must be at least 6 numbers and letters long. So I'll change that now to something else. And what I'll demonstrate next is that the first password and the second password don't match. So I've missed out the last number on there. And it just gives you the error message to say that the 2 passwords didn't match. So you have to just re-enter those details again. And when you do successfully change the password, it just tells you that the password's been updated. I'm just going to change that back to the correct password now. And that's the password changed. So the last thing now that the user will need to do is to log out of their account, just to make sure that nobody else can access their account by clicking in the top right hand corner on the log out button. Now the next section here is going to demonstrate to you an administrative account, which looks very similar to a user account, but there's one small section that's different, and that's the admin panel. So I'm going to log in using my credentials, and this has administrative permissions, which is set up in the database. So these are my account details. It shows you here the information of my account exactly the same way as a user does. So you can view rentals, details, change password. But in the top right we now have an additional button, which is the admin panel. If we click on the admin panel, it will show us the different actions available to administrators. So we can now add and edit users as well as archive them. The same information for books. We can view the current books on loan. We can return a book, so when someone's returned a book to the book club, we can see that. We can add that into the system, and we can add a completed book. So we can say that the book club's actually finished reading that book now, and that will then be displayed on the home page. So we'll start at the top with add user. So what we need to do here is just enter the details following a strict pattern. So if it's not valid, for example, if there's a space in the postcode like we demonstrated before, it won't allow you to submit that new user. Once you've submitted the user, there is the option to edit them. So if, for example, the user has forgotten their password, you would go to the account. So I'm going to go to the test account, and I can actually override that user's password here. So that's just a backup in case the user does forget their password. Then we can go in, reset the password to something nice and easy, tell the user what their password is, and then they can log in and change it to something more secure. We could also, if the telephone number wasn't working, we could change the telephone number, or we could change their email address if they weren't able to log in themselves to do that. So the final thing that we can do for a user is to archive them. What that does is that just takes them out of the system as being a live user of the system. If, for example, somebody's moved away and they're no longer coming to book club, or if there's somebody that just came to one book club and they didn't come back again, then you can actually archive the user by selecting archive, select the name you want to archive in the system, and just click on the button, and you'll see that that person is now archived. If, for example, they moved back, or they decided 6 months later they wanted to start coming back to the book club, then you can just click back on them and click unarchive. So that saves you from actually adding another user onto the system. You can just archive and unarchive. So if we move on to books now, to add a book, it's exactly the same as adding a user. You just fill in the boxes and click save. The publication date follows a year, month, day format. So today's date would be 2011-06-08. The title an ISBN. The ISBN numbers are required. So if the book only has a 10-digit ISBN, you have to enter 13 zeros, just so that the system can validate that there is something there, even though it isn't an ISBN number for that book. So the same the other way around. If you've got a 13-digit one, enter the 13 digits and just enter 10 zeros into ISBN. So if we go back now, we can see how you would edit a book. Now, it's not very often that you would have to do this, but you may, for example, have made a mistake when you added it in the first place in the spelling or something. So if we wanted to edit a book, we select the book we want to edit, and here you can see all of the details. So I could here maybe say I'd spelt the bell jar wrong. I could just edit the title, or if I wanted to change the genre, then I could do that here and just click save. The final thing is to archive a book, which is the same as archiving a user. You select the book you wish to archive and you just click the button to make sure that that's what you want to do, and it will show that it's archived. And equally the same to unarchive the book. The reason that we would archive is if the book's no longer available for rent. So if we are taking this book out of circulation, we've archived it, when we go to search and to view entire catalogue, the Watchman should no longer be available to rent. And you can see there that that's no longer being returned in the search results. So if I unarchive that book, it will then come back into the search results. So I'll click view entire catalogue, and the Watchman is back in that list. The final things that we would do as an administrator, and these are the most common tasks, is to view the books that are out on loan. So we can see here by clicking here, these are all of the books that are currently on loan from the system, and it also indicates which user has them and the date that that person should be returning those books. This is good so that the administrator can see if there are any overdue books, and if they wanted to contact perhaps the user who's got the book, if maybe another user had asked about the book and said, oh, I would quite like to have that, when's it coming back in? That's how we can view that information. So that just tells you what's available on loan, and if you click onto the borrower's name, it will actually tell you. Now in this case, the same person has all three of those books. But what it will do is it will return all of the books that user's got on loan. And if you want to say that those books are being returned, so if the user brought back these two books, we just select the checkboxes, click on return books, and when we select that user, they'll only have one book on loan now. So that's the only book that they've now got on loan. If we go back to the admin panel and click on all view books on loan, that's been reduced to just that one book. And if you want to go straight into return the book, just click on return book, select the user that you're returning the book for, check the box and click return. The final thing is to add a completed book. So this is when the book club's finished reading a book, then they would add it to the completed book list so that users visiting the site can see what the book club have read before. That could be if they wanted to catch up with what the book club had previously read, or if they just want to avoid reading something that they've already read before, or suggesting something that's been read before. So to select a completed book, you just click on completed book, select the book that you wish to complete, and just confirm that we've definitely read that book club. And you'll notice that on the home page, it's been updated to say that that's the book that we read, and it's the date that you've said that it's completed is displayed as to when that book was read. And if from the home page, if you want to, you can click through to the book and it will give you additional information. So if any of the users want to find out what the book is about, who the author is, they can do that straight from the home page. And that's everything. That's the entire additional admin panel. And the final thing is, again, just to click log out to ensure that that nobody else can access the account. And that's everything.